makes it 2-0. Looks like Cole Pitzel might have got a tip on front. We'll see what the official scoring was. It certainly was Jack Peterson. Took the shot from the left point. Looked like Nygaard kind of tried to stop it awkwardly. It kind of deflected underneath his arm and into the net. It was a high rising shot by Peterson. So Pitzel, his first goal of the season. That puck goes out of play, with assists going to Jack Peterson and also Owen Conrad. So Owen Conrad with 2 assists here in the first few minutes of this game. Now, we didn't get a chance to talk about the Eden Prairie power play, but they were over 53% success, number 1 in the state at the 2A level, coming into play today, and it just went up. We'll talk more about that if they get another power play opportunity the rest of the game. Face-off here in the Eagles zone. Pushed into the corner and then banked off the glass. Comes out to center. Greyhounds will feed it forward. Nice little backhand forward. Shovel towards the net. Easily sticked away by Erickson. Eliason Philby with that little shot. Sliding along the ice in on goal. Sent back over to the near side. Played off the half wall. Philby will dump it back in deep again. Eiley will play it for the Eagles. In that game between these two teams last year, an 8-2 win for Eden Prairie. McKinnon Kramer had an assist. Henrik Spenningsby had a goal in that game. Back out to the point, shoveled towards the net, trying for a tip at the side of the goal there was Spenningsby, unable to get the redirect at the side of the net. And Eden Prairie will push it back out to center, and then punched right back in. Duluth East will go for a full line change with 10:30 to go here in the first period, but a 2-0 lead for Eden Prairie. Nice pass up to Schultz. He'll cut to the middle of the ice. He fires it, deflected by his brother in front of the net, never got through to the goal. Back down into the corner. Trying to dig this one free, and the Eagles will chip it back to the point. And that one, quick shot, snapshot from the right point by Bollicki, blocked in front, never got through to the net. Pushed back out to center. Shoveled in on the backhand by the Eagles, and they'll send their forward line off on a line change as we're passing the 7-minute mark here of the first period. And it's a quick 2-0 lead for Eden Prairie. They scored early in the less than 10 seconds into the game, and then they scored less than 5 seconds into their only power play of the game up to this point. Wrist shot there, hits a body in front, caroms across the slot, and the Eagles will get the clear. That wrister taken by Nico Mitchell. Nygaard comes out to play it. He'll paddle it along the boards. Pushed up the wall, knocked the middle ice, and then backhand spun out. Coming down the left side with good speed is Kuzmak, and he'll fire a shot, and maybe that one floated wide. Eagles will quickly shovel it back into the Greyhound end. Nygaard got the start in the game between these two teams last year for Duluth East. Made 36 saves on 44 shots faced in that 8-2 defeat. But again, it's drastically different teams for both teams, obviously. Especially for Eden Prairie, as I mentioned earlier, their top 8 scorers from last year's team graduated. Backhanded down low. Here's Thompson in the corner looking for a centering feed. Good stick handling here by Thompson. Nudges it back to the point for Adams. Adams with a shot. Saved there by Nygaard. Rebound comes up to the middle. Conrad can't get a handle on the backhand. And then it's shoveled around the boards. Back out to center. Racing down. Here's Kramer. Kramer tips it forward. Trying to get out past the defender. And that's poke checked into the corner. Nice play there by Adams. Hammered around the wall and back out to center. Greyhounds starting to get a little bit more offense as this period has moved along. As they'll tip it in with Kramer, he'll head to the bench on a change. Erickson sweeps it into the corner for the Eagles. Trying to get it back out to center here is Cameron Rice, unable to do so. Wolko will lob it back out off the glove of Rice, back out to center. Pushed forward here, picked off by the Eagles. Down the left wing into the zone is Pitzel. Pitzel looking for a centering feed, a sharp angle shot, and a nice save there. It looked like it might have been underneath the bottom of the face mask for the goaltender Nygaard, but he got enough of it. Came up the middle of the shot, and there's a blocker save by Nygaard. Seems like every Eden Prairie chance, every Eden Prairie shot on goal is a high-quality opportunity so far in this game. Stolen here by Wolkov. He'll get a shot off. Glove save there by Nygaard, and he'll squeeze this one and get the whistle. Shot total 6-2 right now in favor of the Eagles with 7:40 to go in the first period. Fans Woodhouse Spa Eden Prairie is where every detail invites you to pause and every touch reminds you to feel. A spa day at Woodhouse Eden Prairie is the reset your body has been craving. Eagles win this faceoff in the offensive zone. They'll come down along the wall with Tucker with a shot that's blocked down in front. Tucker, a sophomore defender, tied up in the corner down low, and that's picked off here by Duluth East. They'll sweep it in with Philby. Erickson comes out to stop it. He'll feed over to Eiley. Eiley quickly has to fire it around the end wall over to Elliott on the right wing. He'll saucer it across. Picked up here by Schultz. Down the wing. Curls into the corner. Leaves it back behind the net for his brother. Behind the nets. Work back out to Eiley here at the left point. He'll fire it right back down to that left corner to Charlie Schultz. Will Schultz on the right side. Gets back over to Charlie. He's going back and forth across the rink. Finally, Philby has enough of that for Duluth East. He'll clear it out to center. Eden Prairie right back in the attack. Here's Tucker. Tucker shielding the puck. It's bumped by Mitchell. Now Liam Brooks. Excellent sophomore defenseman for Duluth East, battling for it. Punched right up the middle, but there's nobody there, and it comes all the way back into the Eden Prairie zone. Eiley leaves it up high, turned over, big slap shot there, saved by Erickson. He'll hold on. Finn Kuzmuk just stepped into that one, got a lot of big drive, but right into the belly of the sophomore goaltender for Eden Prairie. Fans, Eden Prairie Hockey is sponsored by Spotify, the world's most popular audio streaming subscription service with more than 100 million tracks, 7 million podcasts, and hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. Whether you're behind the wheel, working out, socializing, or relaxing, the right music or podcast is always at your fingertips. Spotify. Listen to the future. Battle in the corner of the Eden Prairie zone right now. Moten knocked behind the net. Up to Peterson. He'll push it back out to center, and then Brooks will shovel it forward to Kuzmuk. Kuzmuk down the left wing, over skates. Able to recover, try to sweep back to the point. That's picked up there. Pierce will backhand it towards the goal. That one skips wide. Battle down low in the corner here. Jax Edgerton gets it back up high. Holding it in the zone. Here's Jacob Rowe. He'll get it down deep. Balke will sweep it around for the Eagles. Push back across the rink. Peterson's got some space to carry. Eagles into the zone. Peterson sends it towards the goal. Stick save there by Nygaard. He'll push it into the corner. Flip back to the point. Rice will glove that one down. Cameron Rice feeds it high in the slot. Thompson with a wrist shot. Glove save there by Nygaard. He'll hold on. 8-3 shots on goal in favor of Eden Prairie. Eagles next game, they'll host Elk River Zimmerman. Well, actually, I shouldn't say they'll face Elk River Zimmerman at Braemar Arena in Edina on December 18th in the first round of the Edina Holiday Classic. In the next game for Eden Prairie. Nice pass up here to Zane Medlin. Medlin on the backhand. Backhands it on goal from a tough angle and a pad save there by Erickson. Fired up the middle. Wolkov trying to split the D, unable to do so as that one's picked off here and brought back out to center by Kramer. Wolkov gets it back on the back check, but the Eagles are called for offside, and we'll have a stoppage with 4:57 to go here in the first period of play. Pitzel will take this draw. Clean face-off win, dumped in by Rice. Adams will come over to the left wing. He'll shovel it back in deep. Lundell will push it around the boards. Rice waiting for it. He'll sweep it across over for Adams. Adams fires a shot, missed everything. Rice sweeps at it, keeps it in for a moment. Second effort by Lundell, pushes it back into the Eden Prairie zone. No icing here. Adams will leave it over. Wolkove will collect, getting chased from behind by Orn. Wolkove gets it back up the right wing. Eagles get it back to Wolkove. He's got a head of steam down the right wing. He'll snap it towards the net, and Nygaard will snag this one and get the whistle. So this is the third game in 3 days for Duluth East. They've won the first 2 games of this set. First 2 wins of the season for the Greyhounds. They went just 4-23 last year, and a little bit of unusual statistical oddity. All 4 of those wins came in 2-game winning streaks sprinkled throughout the season. Here's Pierce. He'll work it over to Brooks. Back out to center. Shoveled in on the backhand. And this will be an icing against the Greyhounds, unable to get to the red line. Tied up along the half wall here. Pushed across the rink. Will be played forward by Kuzmuck. Racing down to try to get to this one is Edgerton, unable to do so. Another icing against Duluth East.
Let's get one this line. Gotta work right.
Brooks down the left wing for the Eagles. Drops it over to Kuzmuck. Go over skate. He recovers, flips it back to the point for Pierce. Pierce sends it towards the goal. That one goes high and wide. Kick back out to center. Pierce will collect at the red line. He'll flip it in. Glove down here by Eiley. Work over to Schultz. Pulled forward by his brother Charlie. And he'll recover and dumps it in. Fed in here for Eiley. Eiley hits it, turns it over, picked off, thrown right to the middle but Ansela can't get a handle on it for the Greyhounds. Down the left wing here is Thompson. Gets it just inside the zone. Brought in here, toe drag into the slot, back here towards the goal, they score! Great play there by Kuzmuck, and the Hounds get on the board.
Let's go.
Furring gets the assist. That's thrown right up the slot, picked up here by Peterson. And Eden Prairie will carry it out. Late in the first period, Peterson jams it in on goal. Patted away there by Nygaard. Peterson picks it up himself. Pushed back by the net. They crash into the referee in the corner. Swept back out to center. Poked away from Adams and brought in down the right wing by Valley. Stolen away from him right in front of the goal by Cameron Rice. And Rice will throw it back up to center. Rice considered one of the best stay-at-home defensemen in the state this year, but he's been a pretty offensive player as well so far this season. Got an assist already today. He's got 10 points through the first 5+ games of the season. Here's Thompson, stick handle into the slot, and he has his stick lifted by the defenders, including Lundell, who ties up Thompson in the corner. Turnaround opportunity, shot save there. Peterson with the wrister from below the face-off dot, and Nygaard makes the stop. Greyhounds bring it back out to center. Poke checked away by Elmquist momentarily for Eden Prairie. Fed into the slot, though, by Edgerton. Picked off by the Eagles, and they'll bring it back out to center. Eden Prairie had dominated the first few minutes of this game, but been much more even in the last half of this first period. Here's Rice cutting the middle of the ice. He'll shovel it into the corner on the backhand. With under a minute to go here in the first period. Push back out to center. Worked across for Brooks. Brooks into the zone. Liam Brooks down low. Getting chased by Pitzel for Eden Prairie. Picked off here by the Eagles. Adams trying to hack it around the end ball. Stolen away by the Greyhounds. They'll try to center it, throw it back to the point. That one's intercepted by Eden Prairie. They'll work it up to Rice. Knocked away from him. Tip forward here. Here's Kuzmuk again. Kuzmuk down the right side. Trying to cut to the net again. Poke checked away from him by Tucker with 30 seconds to go in the period. Left down low. Eagles scramble a little bit in their own end. Throwing back up to Spenningsby. Able to shovel it deep as he was getting pressure from Schultz. Here's Rice looking for a headman pass. Instead, he'll carry it. Gets over to Schultz. Slap pass across the rink with 15 seconds to go. Elliott down low and into the corner. Elliott knocked away from him. Brought back out to center. 8 seconds remaining. Kramer down the left wing. Kramer with a wrist shot. Missed the net. Hard off the end wall. Kramer will pick it up. Turns. Sends it right out in front. And the horn sounds before it looks like Grayson Medic could play the puck in front of the net. And Eden Prairie will take a 2-1 lead in the locker room after the first period of play. We'll take a break. Come back in a few minutes. Recap the game. Preview the second period as well. After 1 from the Eden Prairie Community Center. Eden Prairie 2 and Duluth East 1. You're watching MN Hockey. And welcome back to the Eden Prairie Community Center. Jeff Brown here on MN Hockey TV and the Lake Conference Network. Glad to have you watching this afternoon. 2-1 Eden Prairie with the lead over Duluth East after one period of play. Shot totals 11-7 in favor of the Eagles. And Eden Prairie had a great start to this game. They scored 9 seconds into the game. Fifth goal of the season by freshman R.J. Thompson, with assists going to Owen Conrad and Cameron Rice. They would then score a couple minutes later, 4 seconds into a power play, on the first goal of the season by senior Cole Pitzel, with assists going to Jack Peterson and Owen Conrad. So 3-4 minutes into the game, it's 2-0 Eden Prairie. But after that, Duluth East seemed to find their footing, and they started to push back. Much more even play. The Greyhounds started to outchance the Eagles. I mean, most of the shots on goal that Eden Prairie had were in the first 4, 5, 6 minutes of the game. And then after that, Duluth East, I thought, for the most part, had the better of the play. Keys for this second period, well, I should say, finish off the scoring from the first period. One goal for Duluth East that came late in the frame. A beautiful move by Finn Kuzmuk with a single assist to Wesley Furren. Kuzmuk came down, cut into the slot, and then had a nifty backhander past the goaltender for Eden Prairie to get the Greyhounds on the board. Keys for the second period, I think really for both teams, they got to limit zone entry with speed. There were a lot of good speed coming down the middle, coming down the wings, I should say, and then that winger just has to make one guy miss, and then he's kind of in all alone with the goaltender. Both teams also need to have better breakouts. A lot of missed passes breaking out of the zone, leading to a lot of icing calls against both teams in that first period of play. At the long change here in the second. Only one penalty in that first period. And the Eagles capitalized on that man advantage opportunity. That was their second goal of the game. Again, Eden Prairie in white, Duluth East in red. These two teams, very similar color schemes. Eagles win the draw. Nice rink-wide pass over for Adams. He'll gain the line down the left wing. Right to center it. That goes off the stick of Brooks. Goes into the corner where Edgerton will collect. Rink-wide pass through the legs of Rowe. Turned over to the Eagles. They'll dump it in. Stopped by the net here by Nygaard. Nygaard with 9 saves and 11 shots faced in that first period of play. Played off the near side wall. Rice battling with Kuzmuk. Kuzmuk able to clear it into the Eagles zone. Adams waiting there. He'll ring it around the wall. Peterson pushes it back into his own zone, and he'll get an offside against Duluth East at the same time. .16:23 to go here in the second. Fans, Eden Prairie Hockey is presented by Rainbow Tree Care, Lawn Care, and Pest Experts. In the stands or at home, Rainbow is caring for your world. And a lengthy conversation about where this faceoff should be between the linesmen and the referees, because that puck was brought in by Eden Prairie. And the faceoff will appear to come into the Eden Prairie zone. Fans not liking this call, and the referee's giving an explanation to Lincoln Wynn, the head coach for Eden Prairie. Pitzel pulls the puck back to the end wall, fired around the boards, tipped back out to center, and all that argument ends up just being a clear for the Eagles. Elmquist into the zone, down the right wing, drop pass here to Wolko. Ends up over skating. I don't think he was expecting that puck, and the Eagles will then pick it off again. Here's Rice, already fans on his rink-wide pass, trying to get it across the rink to Elmquist. Elmquist had some time and space to work. Rice will work it back behind the net. Wolko will collect. Works it back to Tucker. Tucker picks it up off the wall. Tucker with a sharp angle shot. Saved there by Nygaard. Tucker jams it out in front. Pushing it there is Wolko, and pops over the top of the net. Elmquist on the backhand. Hammers it around for Pitzel, waiting at the point. They'll just shovel it back down to Elmquist for Eden Prairie. Elmquist getting tugged on from behind here by Spenningsby. Eagles hold on to the puck. Wolkove will dump it back behind that. Takes work here off the stanchion out in front, and that rolls off a stick of Elmquist, and Duluth East will jam it down the rink. Icing waved off. Just like the start of the first period, this has been a great start to the second period for Eden Prairie, but they haven't scored yet. They steal it out in front. One-timer in front. Pad save there by Nygaard on Pitzel. Chance after chance here in the first 2 minutes of the second period. That's thrown in on goal from beyond the blue line. Another opportunity on the right wing by Valley. Hits off the back of the net for Duluth East. Here's Elliott. Gets up to Wolkove. He overskates. Turned over here. Shoveled in by Valley. Off the stanchion. Pops into the slot. And Tucker will collect for Eden Prairie. Races back behind his own net. Hammers it off the half wall. Picked off out at center by Mitchell for Duluth East. He'll dump it in. Eiley works it up the left wing. Swept in here by Schultz. Elliott waiting for it along the boards on the near side half wall for Eden Prairie. Knocked away from him. Fed up high by Antela. Flipped out by the Greyhounds. Eagles have to clear the zone. Now they'll go back in on the attack. No whistle. 14 minutes and change to go here in the second period. 2-1 Eden Prairie with the lead. Down the right wing is Kuzmuk. He'll get a shot off. Saved there by Erickson. Sent right back into that same corner. Greyhounds working back to the point. Wrist shot there. Fought off by Erickson. And Schultz 2-on-2. Trying to slide it past the defender Mitchell. Mitchell read that one well. Fed it back up the wall. Greyhounds into the zone. Elliott backhands it into the slot. That one's through the legs of Jax Edgerton. Not really expecting that pass. And then it's iced by Eden Prairie with 13:46 to go here in the second period. Fans, Eden Prairie Hockey is sponsored by Spotify, the world's most popular audio streaming subscription service with more than 100 million tracks, 7 million podcasts, and hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. Whether you're behind the wheel, working out, socializing, or relaxing, the right music or podcast is always at your fingertips. Spotify. Listen to the future. Here's Medlin. Medlin trying to cut into the slot, and it's jammed wide. He'll pick it up himself off the corner boards. Stolen away by Eden Prairie. Here's up to Thompson. Thompson up the left side into the zone for Peterson. Peterson feeds it back, kind of a give and go with Thompson. Thompson bumped off the side of the goal. Conrad spinning out in front. Runs it off the crossbar. There was daylight there, but he hit it off the iron. All in one motion there. Conrad curled out in front. Goaltender was down a little bit too early, and there was space, but he ends up hitting it off the pipe. Conrad with 2 assists so far on the game. He'll saucer it up to the blue line, trying to hit Peterson in stride. Stolen away by Duluth East. They'll stumble out at center. Thompson with good speed down the right side. Can't get the centering thing. Back in it. Tipped in front. They score! Conrad tallies it. 3-1 Eden Prairie. The defender for Duluth East did a great job hassling R.J. Thompson. But the defender for Duluth East did a great job hassling R.J. Thompson. Penalty coming here against Eden Prairie for, wait for the official signal, looks like tripping. Thompson was trying to feed it across the slot for another one of his other team, the line mates, just never really got chased in the corner, and finally tipped it back, and then was centered across by Peterson, and Conrad was all alone in front of the net, an easy tap-in goal. So Owen Conrad, a goal and 2 assists. R.J. Thompson, a goal and an assist. And Jack Peterson with 2 assists so far in the game. But a tripping call against Riley Wolkove and a power play for Duluth East. They're down 3-1. Holding it at the left point here is Medic. Fans on his pass. Thompson will pick it off, and he overskates. And then Medic keeps it at the point. Battle along the near side wall, and finally dug up by Eiley. Can't get it out of the zone, though. Brooks coming down low. He'll fire a shot. Bouncing around in the front of the goal. Cleared to the point. Maddock will swat it into the slot. Goes across the rink. Eiley will send it back over. Waiting there is Kramer. Kramer, kind of a back and forth with Medic. Kramer gets a shot off and is deflected and sails out of play. Both these teams have been great on the power play and terrible on the penalty kill so far this season. Duluth East power play at over 30%. That's a 10th in the state at the two-way level. Penalty kill for Eden Prairie at 70% so far. 6 power play goals on Thursday and Friday so far for the Duluth East man advantage against Brainerd and Cambridge Isanti. Again, this is the 3rd game in 3 days for Duluth East. It'll be lobbed out of play into the stands. And we'll have a stoppage here. 1:13 remaining on the Duluth East power play. So Eden Prairie with a power play well over 50% so far in the season. And meanwhile, Duluth East power play has scored 6 goals in 2 games. So I think, and as I mentioned, both teams have struggled. Penalty kills under 80% so far in the early going this season. So I guess the question coming down the left side, here's Orr and centers it, but it's deflected away by a stick, and then Rice will tip it back out to center. The question would be is, who can be most disciplined, stay out of the box? Giving these electric power plays opportunities to put one home, and that won't be worked around the boards. Carrying it down here is Pitzel, shorthanded, and get a shot off down the wing. No one really with him, so he just throws it in on goal. Glove down there by Nygaard, couldn't squeeze it. But Duluth East with 20 seconds to go, and that one goes off the stick of Kuzmuk, and then it's poke checked away by Pierce. And then it's recovered nicely here by Thompson. Thompson cutting down the right side, weaving into the slot. Backhander goes high and wide. Then he's shoved off by Kuzmuk behind the goal. Power play about to expire here for Duluth East. Racing over to get to it is Edgerton. Edgerton slips off his stick and play back out to center. Wolkov out of the box, racing for a loose puck in the slot. He'll jam it towards the goal. Saved there by Nygaard. Face-off control by the Greyhounds. Lundell gets tied up by Elliott in the corner. Lundell working around the boards. Tucker, he'll take a hard hit, goes down to the ice. Schultz will feed it back out to the left point, sent towards the goal, off the face mask of Nygaard. And into the corner, Charlie Schultz gets spun around by Breck Burns. Will Schultz there to support. Back down deep. Nico Mitchell for Duluth East pushes it up the boards. Battle along that far wall in the Eden Prairie offensive zone. Knocked back down deep. Lundell's got some space. He'll collect it, throw it off the half wall. Trickles back out to center. Played by Eden Prairie, so no icing. Crashing down in the corner is Moten. And that leads to a turnover for Duluth East. They'll backhand it into the slot. Tied up in between the circles. Clear back out to the point and trickles back out to center. He's shoveled back in by Mitchell. Duluth East has to clear the zone. They'll get a line change at the same time. Here's Elliott. He'll tip it forward. Up to Schultz. Down the right side. He'll fire. Big save there by Nygaard. Rebound Karams all the way back out to center. Fed up here to Tucker. Has to wait for his teammates to clear. Throws the puck right into the defender right in front of him. That was Medic. And Medic will get possession for Duluth East. They'll get it up the blue line, but no farther. Medic back to track down here, the sophomore defender. We'll play it up the right side. That one's behind Medlin and Kramer as well, and that leads to a loose puck collected by Wolkov for Eden Prairie. Gets double teamed, spun off the puck, but he's still able to slide it in deep into the corner of the offensive zone. Medic will play it up the wall. Wolkov moves it to the middle of the ice, then punch back into that corner. Back to Wolkov. He'll come off the wall, throws it towards the goal, blocked down in front, and then Duluth East will ice the puck. 8:30 to go, exactly halfway through the game. 3-1 Eden Prairie with the lead. They have a 19-11 shots on goal advantage so far in the game as well. Fans, Eden Prairie Boys Hockey on MN Hockey TV is presented in part by Hilton Minneapolis. Book your holiday party at the Topgolf Swing Suite inside Hilton Minneapolis. featuring family-friendly games, over 40 golf courses to choose from, and shareable bites like State Fair pretzels and donut hole-in-ones. Off the face-off, it's flipped into the netting. We'll have another stoppage. It's been an up and down early season for Eden Prairie. They win the face-off in the offensive zone. Rice with a shot, blocked down in front. No one knows where the puck is. Rolls in the face-off circle, and that allows Duluth East to pick it up, but Road can't get it out of the zone. Wolko plays it off the half wall up to Adams. Adams flips it towards the goal. It's blocked away by a knee in front of the net. That was Edgerton. Here's Rice, way down low. Backhands it up high. Wolkove chips it into that far corner. Pitzel there. He'll spin away from pressure. Kind of looks like a power play right now for Eden Prairie. Not very aggressive on the forecheck here for Duluth East. Quick little snapshot from the face-off circle, goes over the net. Rice throws it right out in front and unable to jam towards the goal and cleared up the middle. Picked up here by Rice. Rice, sharp angle shot, saved there by Nygaard. He'll hold on. Duluth East pinned in their own end. Again, I've said it several times. I'll mention it again. This is the third game in 3 days for Duluth East against a fresh and rested Eden Prairie team. How much is left in the tank for the Greyhounds? Face-off win by Duluth East. They'll backhand it up the right side. Antala and a foot race down the wing here with Balaki. And a hard hit on Antala and a penalty coming against the Eagles for holding. I think it's going to be Balaki getting the gate for the Eagles. Second power play opportunity of the second period for Duluth East. Trying to get back to within one, but a face-off win by Eden Prairie. Rice tied up behind the net by Antala. Medlin trying to dig it free for Duluth East. He's got it. He'll throw it back out to the point. Worked over here to Medic. Medic fires, blocked in front by the rear end of, I believe, Braylon Moten, and I think that definitely stung him. Yeah, he's going to stay on the ice, but looks skating a little bit gingerly. Here come down the left side is Medlin. Medlin double teamed along the boards, and that's banked off the glass on the clear by Eden Prairie. Again, Eden Prairie's power penalty kill at just over 70% coming into play today in the early going this season. Here's Brooks. Sweeps it back to Medic. Chipped over here to Medlin. Medlin makes a move down the right side. Into the zone, trying to center from Medic in front of the goal. That's blocked away. Cleared off the boards and back out to center. Brooks back to track down. A minute to go here in the power play for Duluth East. 6.5 to go in the second period and a 3-1 Eden Prairie lead. Brooks shovels it over to Medlin off his skate just back out to center. Greyhounds will maintain control, but they got to get back into the zone, and Medic throws it right into the stick of Cameron Rice, and Rice will dump it down the rink. Deep into the Eden Prairie zone here, pushed on the boards, and Rice hammers it back out off the stick here of Elmquist. 1-on-2, he'll chase it down along the half wall. Short-handed here for Eden Prairie, Pitzel and Elmquist. And this will be collected by Spenningsby. He'll retreat back behind his own net. Only 20 seconds to go here on the power play for Duluth East. Greyhounds stumble down at the blue line with Kuzmuk, and Eden Prairie will get the clear, and that should just about do it for this power play. Duluth East will take on the inner city battle with Duluth Denfeld on December 20th. Their next game, that one shot goes just wide, hard off the end wall, bounces back behind the net. Eden Prairie back to full strength. Pushed up the corner boards. Thompson can't play it. Knocked back in deep. Worked up the boards. Here's Pierce. He'll just jam it wide, maintain the zone. Adams will flip it back at the point. Greyhounds will keep it in again. They'll flip it towards the goal and be a pop fly catch by Luke Erickson. And he'll hold on. 5:03 to go here in the second. Fans, Woodhouse Spa Eden Prairie, where every detail invites you to pause and every touch reminds you to feel. A spa day at Woodhouse Eden Prairie is the reset your body has been craving. Another offensive zone face-off here for Duluth East, and another one that they lose. Eden Prairie comes back the other way and looked like they were offside. And they are, but they don't have the puck, so they'll lay it offside. They clear the zone. Play will continue. Coming out through center is Lundell. Lundell sweeps over the right side, kick through the skates of Zachary Valley, and he'll push it down deep. Lundell playing it down below the goal line. Greyhounds have had a lot of offensive zone time in the latter stages of this period. Just to really, they have not been able to get a goal. Only 4 shots in the period so far for Duluth East. Here's Lundell. Medlin tries a rink-wide pass, goes off the skate of Mitchell. Mitchell was not Medlin's intended target. Puck comes back out to center. Schultz feeds it over to Tucker. Tucker sends it through across the rink, goes off the skates of Breck Burns of the Hounds and deep into the Duluth East zone. Under 4 minutes to go here in the second period. Here's Wolko. Wolko feeds it back to the point. Here's Rice. Rice with a wrister, knocked down and kicked just wide by Nygaard. Trying to feed it back to the point, goes off the skate of Medlin and kick back out to center, and that forces Eden Prairie to reset. Lundell, headman pass up to Medlin. Medlin gets free out in front with a shot. Big save in front there by the netminder Erickson. Excuse me. Erickson had to go down, and I think Medlin ran out of real estate to put that puck home. .3:15 to go here in the second period. Zane Medlin and Liam Brooks, some of the top sophomores in the state. Medlin leading the Greyhounds in scoring, and Brooks second on the team in scoring. In fact, in terms of building blocks, 3 of the 4 top scorers for Duluth East coming into play today are sophomores. So you got a lot of young players for Steve Petoja's squad, getting a lot of playing time early in their career, and hope that maybe doesn't pay dividends this year, but hopefully that pays dividends in the next couple of seasons. Duluth East 4-23 last year. Here's Elmquist. Elmquist tries to get the puck into the zone, knocked down at the blue line by Spenningsby. He goes down to the ice in front of the Eden Prairie bench. Battle there as Spenningsby trying to kick the puck along the boards. Finally dug off the wall by Moten. He'll feed it over to Eiley. Eiley will dump it in for Eden Prairie. Comes back over to the other side. Philby works it up, trying to feather it along the wall. Spenningsby throws a trek, trying to get the puck out to center, and that's successful, but just to the red line, and Eden Prairie will throw it right back in. Nygaard not liking how that sequence was going, so he'll get the whistle on the cover-up and a face-off in the Duluth East end. Glove down here by Rice. Rice comes a couple steps forward. Shot, big save by Nygaard. Rebound in front. They score! Thompson, his second goal of the game. 4-1 Eden Prairie. Duluth East tried a mid-air clear. It's gloved down by Cameron Rice at the right point. Came in a couple of steps, got a shot off. Initial save by Nygaard. But the puck popped right to Thompson in front of the goal, and he jams it home for his second of the game. Conrad down the right side, sharp angle, pad save by Nygaard. And Rice gets the lone assist. So offense for Eden Prairie, following the script. Here comes Thompson. Top line out there again. They'll feed it over to Peterson. Peterson with a shot. Missed the net, glove side. Rice will keep it in. On D-to-D with Adams. Adams down the left wing. Into the corner. Just over a minute to go here in the second period. Greyhounds will play it off the boards, and that one just trickles out to center. But for Eden Prairie, their top 4 scorers entering play today, as that's gloved by Erickson, he'll get a whistle. Eden Prairie's top 4 scorers, R.J. Thompson, Jack Peterson, Cameron Rice, and Owen Conrad, had scored 14 of the team's 18 goals and 25 of the team's 31 assists in the season up to today. And so far, those 4 guys have accounted for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points here today. So Eden Prairie very top heavy offensively, and that one's played into the netting in the corner. And for Eden Prairie to be successful in the always dangerous Lake Conference as the season moves along, they're going to need depth in scoring. Multiple lines being able to contribute, multiple defensive pairs being able to contribute against teams like Edina, Minnetonka, Maple Grove, Elmquist, Wayzata as well. That top unit for Eden Prairie is electric, but you're going to need more scoring from other sources as the season moves along. So R.J. Thompson now with 14 points. Jack Peterson with 12 points. Cameron Rice with 11 points. Owen Conrad with 12 points. And after that, it drops off to Riley Wolcove with 3. Face-off win by the Eagles. 30 seconds to go in the second period. Backhanded it down into the corner by Rice. Pitzel tied up there. Trying to help out his Elmquist. And it's stolen by Pitzel. Pitzel throwing in the slot for a shot. Goes off the face mask, off the top of the helmet of the goaltender Nygaard, off the stick of Wolcove. Out of play. 15 seconds remaining here in the second. But Cameron Rice likes to think of himself as kind of a stay-at-home guy on the blue line, but he has been anything but that. As so far today, he's got 2 assists, now 10 assists now in the season. 5 seconds to go in the period. Turnaround shot from the wall is cleared down the rink, and it's going to reach the Duluth East zone as the horn sounds. And Eden Prairie takes a 4-1 lead into the locker room after 2 periods here at home. We'll take a break, come back in a few minutes, recap the game, preview the third period as well. After 2 at the Eden Prairie Community Center, it is 4-1 Eden Prairie. You're watching MN Hockey TV and the Lake Conference Network.
Your world is made up of many things. Your yard, your home, your family, but it's also shared with nature. When we think of ecosystems, we often picture remote forests, but really, ecosystems begin right where we live. It's important to support the trees, soil, and wildlife to create a thriving environment while also ensuring your home remains a comfortable place for your family. Responsible management with a trusted partner is key to supporting this balance. Contact us today and learn how Rainbow is caring for your world.
And welcome back to the Eden Prairie Community Center. Jeff Brown here on MN Hockey TV and the Lake Conference Network. Glad to have you watching this afternoon. Bitterly cold weekend in the state of Minnesota. Eden Prairie with a 4-1 lead over Duluth East after 2 periods of play. Shot totals 25-12 in favor of the Eagles. They had an 11-7 edge in the first period and a 14-5 edge in the second period. It has been all the top line for Eden Prairie. They've done all the damage here today as their top line of forwards and their number one defenseman have accounted for 5, 8, 10 points in the game today, including 3 of the 4 goals. R.J. Thompson scored first, less than 10 seconds into the game for the Eagles, with assists going to Owen Conrad and Cameron Rice. Then a power play tally by Cole Pitzel a few minutes later, with assists going to Jack Peterson and Owen Conrad. So it's 2-0 Eden Prairie early in the first period. Duluth East would get a goal back from Finn Kuzmuk with a single assist to Wesley Furin. That was the end of the scoring in the first period. 2-1 Eden Prairie with the lead. The Eagles would add 2 more goals in the second period. A goal by Owen Conrad with assists to R.J. Thompson and Jack Peterson. And then Thompson scored again with a single assist to Cameron Rice. So R.J. Thompson, 2 goals and an assist. Jack Peterson with 2 helpers. Owen Conrad with a goal and 2 assists. And Cam Rice with 2 assists so far in the game. In fact, only Cole Pitzel is the only player outside of the top line and top D who has a point offensively for the Eagles here tonight. Keys for this third period. One thing for Duluth East, they got to win more offensive zone faceoffs. They had a fair amount of offensive zone opportunities in that second period, but they could just never win a draw when it mattered. And for Eden Prairie, I mean, you got a 3-goal lead. You've given up 12 shots so far through 2 periods. Play a solid 2-way game the rest of the way, and you should be in good shape. Short change again here in the third. Eden Prairie will face Elk River Zimmerman at Braemar Arena on December 18th in their next game. And Duluth East will face rival Duluth Denfeld on December 20th in their next matchup. Face-off win for the Eagles. And we are underway here in the third. Here's Rice. Feeds it back to Wolkove. Wolkove now cutting up the middle. Stumbles a little bit, lost the puck, spun and fed it into the zone. Pierce will tip it up the boards, back out to center. Backhanded forward, tip towards the goal by Medlin, cleared away by Adams. Rice gets knocked down, but feeds it forward up to a little bit too far for Elmquist, and Brooks will clear back out to center. Here's Pitzel. He'll tip it in front of the Duluth East bench. Now he'll carry it in down the right side. Pitzel in the corner. Leaves it there for Elmquist behind the net. Elmquist knocked down by Landon Pierce. Pitzel will nudge it around the boards. Adams back out to the point. He'll go D-to-D with Rice. Rice with a quick shot. That one gets through, and a pad save by Nygaard in front of the goal. Kicked up the middle, off the stick of Kramer. Kramer against Rice. Kramer will get there first in the corner offensively for the Greyhounds. He's pinched off by Rice, and Eden Prairie will take control. Peterson tipped away from him, and coming in on the attack down the right side is Spettingsby with a big drive. Goes over the glove and out and around the boards and back out to center. Slapped in here. Rice will collect. Feeds it up to Peterson. Peterson up to Thompson. He's caught in the wash in front of the penalty box. Comes back the other way. Kuzma trying to center it on the backhand in front of the goal for Edgerton. Cleared back out to center. Conrad down the right wing, trying to cut into the slot. He's shoved off the puck by Medic. Conrad, though, collects it in the corner. Flips out in front, backhander towards the goal, saved there by Nygaard. Top line out for Eden Prairie. From a sharp angle, Peterson shot blocked, ends up in the other corner. Here's Conrad, backhands at the side of the goal, and Thompson looking for the hat trick. He's shoved off there by Spettingsby. Worked around the boards. Tucker activating from the point. Thrown across the rink. Conrad can't play, and Eden Prairie will start to go for a line change as Medic will fling the puck back out to center. Collected at the red line by Tucker for the Eagles. He'll carry it in down the right side. Tucker throws it in on goal from a tough angle. A pad save there by Nygaard. Eiley will keep it in the zone for Eden Prairie. 14 and a half minutes to go here in the third. 4-1 Eden Prairie with the lead. And we had too many men on the ice potentially for Eden Prairie. Fans, Eden Prairie Hockey is sponsored by Spotify, the world's most popular audio streaming subscription service with more than 100 million tracks, 7 million podcasts, and hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. Whether you're behind the wheel, working out, socializing, or relaxing, the right music or podcast is always at your fingertips. Spotify. Listen to the future. Looks like Will Schultz is going to serve this penalty. I think it's going to be too many men on the ice. Looked up at when the whistle sounded, and one of the assistant coaches for Eden Prairie not very happy. Shot, score! Marcus Antelock, 7 seconds into the power play, gets the Hounds back on the board. Both power plays continue to be electric. Eden Prairie scored, I think, 4 seconds into a power play in the first period. And Duluth East scores 7 seconds into a power play here in the third. Again, Eden Prairie's power play well over 50% now on the season, and Duluth East at over 30%. Grayson Medic gets the lone assist on Antela's goal. Backing it into the slot. Cleared away there by Rice. Long stretch pass over to Peterson on the right wing. Peterson chased into the corner by Lundell. Peterson backhands right up the middle. Shot. Big save there by Nygaard. Owen Conrad all in one motion as he was going down to the ice. Got a shot in on goal and a great leg pad save there. Kind of an awkward stop by Nygaard, but it gets the job done. Thompson up the right side. Trying to flip this one in deep is Conrad. Lundell will take control and nudge it back behind his own goal for Duluth East. Flip back out, and that hits off the stick of Kramer, and then stepping in front of him is Adams. He has to wait for his teammates to clear the zone, so just dump it deep. As Eden Prairie starting to go for a line change. That's tipped in by Medlin. No icing. Tied up along the boards. Moten will collect for Eden Prairie, works around, swept towards the goal, saved there by Erickson, comes up the middle. Elmquist trying to spring Wolcove on a breakaway. That pass intercepted. Pitzel gets a shot off, goes over the top of the nets. Here's Elmquist into the zone down the right wing. Elmquist fires it wide, but wide of the goal. Over skating there is Pitzel, but he's able to poke check it free, leaves it in the corner where Brooks will collect for Duluth East. 12:40 remaining here in the third period. Wolcove will sweep it around the boards. Waiting there is Kramer. Can't get it out of the zone. Back in it in deep here by Pitzel. Dug free by Landon Pierce. He'll start the rush, but his headman pass down the right side too far for Zane Medlin, and an icing against Duluth East. Both teams' passing has just been a little bit off here today. You know, there was no pressure there. It was Pierce and Medlin. No one pressuring Pierce, no one pressuring Medlin. That pass just too far for Medlin, and it's kind of a rally killer for Duluth East. They had speed and an odd man rush, a little bit of momentum, and instead they have to deal with a defensive zone faceoff. Brought forward here by Edgerton. Edgerton stops just inside the zone, stumbles down, tumbles over Schultz along the half wall. Moving it to the middle of the ice here is Spenningsby on the backhand. Leaves it at the point for Medic. Medic with a shot blocked down in front. Cleared back out. Charlie Schultz trying to poke check it past Spenningsby. Spenningsby, senior defenseman, reads that play well for Duluth East. Fed into the slot, kicks off the skate of Kuzmak, and that has to be swept away by the goaltender Erickson. Eden Prairie works up high, stolen away. Up in the middle of the shot. That one high and wide off the stick of Edgerton. Lob high here by up to Schultz. Schultz feeds across, and that one goes over the top of the net off the stick of Elliott. End to end here into the offensive zone is Rode. Throws it down deep. 11:15 to go here in the third period. Push back out to center. Haven't had a whistle in a little bit. Here's Lundell. He's got some space. He'll saucer it across. Off a couple of sticks. Adams will get there first along the end wall, and Rice will sweep it around but can't get it out of the zone. Back down to Rice. Rice will shovel it back up the boards. That one trickles to the point. Lundell with a nice hold. He raced back to the point and kept it in the zone. Glove down here by Antela. Cutting to the slot, and going to the tough angle, the short side, fought off by the shoulder of Erickson. 10:43 to go here in the third. 4-2 Eden Prairie with the lead. Fans, Woodhouse Spa, Eden Prairie is where every detail invites you to pause and every touch reminds you to feel. A spa day at Woodhouse, Eden Prairie is the reset your body has been craving. Lobbed off the glass, back out to neutral. Dumped back down deep here by the Greyhounds. Adams back to play it along the end wall. Puck comes through to the face-off circle. Conrad will shovel it back to the point. Back out to center, and Peterson by himself will throw it in on goal from beyond the blue line. Fought off by Nygaard. This puck knocked back to the point. Trying to hold this one in as Balakey just inside the blue line. Work back to the red line, and Rice will dump it back in. And it caroms right off the edge of the stanchion and pops into the netting behind the Duluth East goal. Eden Prairie has struggled defensively coming into play today. They've given up over 4 goals a game on average and giving up over 38 shots a night on average, Eden Prairie had been. So far, just 16 shots allowed through nearly 2.5 periods. And they've done it against a surging Duluth East team. Greyhounds had won last 2 games, Thursday and Friday nights. They'd scored 13 goals in those 2 games. Duluth East had. They had scored 7 goals combined, the Greyhounds had, in their first 4 games of the season. Not only that for Duluth East, they had 6 power play goals over the last 2 games. Here's Elmquist behind the net for Eden Prairie. Picked off by Brooks, so working up the boards. They'll be shoveled out to center by Kramer. Kramer in a foot race with Moten. Moten will get there first for Eden Prairie. He'll spin back into the corner. 7 players had multi-point nights against Cambridge Isanti yesterday, and 4 players had multi-point nights against Brainerd on Thursday night for the Greyhounds. So you had a lot of guys with some fair amount of offensive success and trying to walk this one out in front and jam it in from behind the goal was Pitzel. That one's fought off by Duluth East. Still can't get it out of their own zone, though. The Greyhounds had a lot of offensive momentum, a lot of offensive success, a lot of players feeling confident offensively coming into play today. But Eden Prairie's done a nice job limiting their chances through 2.5 periods. Shot, that one goes off the crossbar. Still, the chances, that one's floated towards the net from the wall by Kramer, and it might have almost been deflected by Easton Horn, but Erickson makes the stop. Still, the chances that Duluth East has had have been quality opportunities. 17 shots on goal. They've hit the pipe a couple of times, including just a moment ago. Fired around the boards. Collected here by Eden Prairie. They'll tip it back out to center. Fired in by the Greyhounds. Stopped behind the net by Erickson. So the volume of shots that the Eagles have given up has way dropped down here today. But still, they've given up a large number of good chances to Duluth East. Flipped in. Eiley sweeps it over to the other corner. Good puck movement here by Eden Prairie. Schultz, his brother Will caught from behind on the back check by Spenningsby, but Charlie will fire it around the wall. And it's collected here by Duluth East, trying to get it up to Kuzma. Kuzma comes free with a shot. That one goes high and wide of the net. Rebound was hammered just wide by Antela. That into the slot, redirected, big save there by Erickson. Nice redirect by Breck Burns, the senior. Couple of good chances by Duluth East. Fans, Eden Prairie Hockey is presented by Rainbow Tree Care, lawn care and pest experts. In the stands or at home, Rainbow is caring for your world. 7:43 to go here in the third. 4-2, Eden Prairie with the lead. Here's Cameron Rice. Gets it up the wall, stumbling down at the boards. It was Owen Conrad, and that leads to an icing against Eden Prairie. Now the team has used their timeout as of yet. Has been an up and down season for the Eagles in the early going. They beat out the face-off of the shot. Trying to pick that corner top shelf was Antela again. Big screen in front of Erickson. That shot goes wide on the short side. Adams can't get the handle. Comes free for Burns. Knocked away from him. Holding the line is Valley for a moment. Then the Eagles get the clear. Stolen away by Rice. He'll lead the rush. Works it across for Thompson. Thompson feeds it back in front for Peterson. He got a piece of that puck in front, but not enough to push it towards the goal. It's be a lob back out to center. Glove down by Antela. He'll sweep it in and go for a line change. Under 7 minutes to go here in the third period. Pass across, chasing this one down is Conrad. Conrad stops the face-off dot, looking for some support. He'll move into the high slot. And he keeps it in the zone, backhanded down deep. Thompson trying to get it to Wolkov in front, unable to do so. Sent towards the goal, blocked down by Pierce. Pierce will play it off the glass. But Eden Prairie able to regain possession and maintain the zone. Conrad feeds it back to the point. Bollecki has trouble able to keep it, throw it back down deep. Backhanded in front. Goes through everybody, and then Duluth East will get it free from Medlin. Medlin one-on-one with Moten. Medlin swept away nicely by Moten. Back out to Brooks for Duluth East. Under 6 minutes to go here in the third. Erickson will stop it behind the net. Moten will work it around the wall. Tip back into the Duluth East zone. But Eden Prairie, they beat Maple Grove and Shakopee, two teams that have been pretty competitive the last few years. But the Eagles also blew a huge lead against Prior Lake in a tie, 5-5 tie between those two teams earlier in the year. And they also lost decisively to Hill Murray and Chanhassen. So it's kind of been up and down for Eden Prairie in the early going. Shot here, saved by Erickson off the stick of Spenningsby. Eagles had also, the season so far this year is kind of like a microcosm for Duluth East today, where shot through from Spenningsby and a pad save by Erickson. Eagles have averaged over 3.5 goals a game entering play today. But they've done it on a pretty low percentage number of shots. Nice pass up, breakaway for Schultz. Shoot a shot. Kick save there by Nygaard. Here's Pitzel. Pitzel feeds it across. Backdoor Schultz unable to play it. Diving down to play that knocked that one away was Jacob Rode. And the net comes off its moorings, and we'll have a stoppage with 4:50 to go here in the third. Fans, Eden Prairie Hockey and MN Hockey TV is presented in part by Hilton Minneapolis. Play over 40 iconic golf courses or try football, soccer, and more at the brand new Topgolf Swing Suite at Hilton Minneapolis. Reservations on Open Table or walk-ins welcome. But Eden Prairie's averaged only 25 shots on goal per game, but they're scoring well over 3.5 goals a game. So not a lot of scoring chances, but they're capitalizing on what they're creating. Here's Schultz. Down the left wing into the zone again. He'll get a wrist shot off. Fought off by the blocker of Nygaard. Schultz trying to corral a bouncing puck behind the goal. He's shoved off by big Wally Lundell in the corner. Behind the nets, fed back to Adams. Adams fires a wrist shot and through a ton of traffic. Somehow Nygaard saw that one and makes the glove save. Major changes for Eden Prairie this season. Obviously, 13 seniors graduated from last year. Their top 8 scorers as part of that. New head coach this year as well, Lincoln Wynn. Got a wide range of experience, Wynn does. He's been a former head coach of Marion University and NCAA Division III. Face-off win here by the Eagles. Shot by Thompson from the slot, blocked and kicked into the corner. Wynn also an assistant coach previously at the Division I level for Alaska Fairbanks. He was an assistant for Minnetonka last season. Takes over as the head coach this year. Placed Mike Terwilliger, who stepped down after 3 years as the head coach for the Eagles. Time becoming a factor for Duluth East. Under 4 minutes to go, and they're down by 2. Neither team has used their timeout as of yet. Thompson will hack the puck off the glass. This will go down the length of the rink, and this will be an icing against Eden Prairie. Face-off controlled by the Eagles. They'll shovel it off the glass. No icing here as Brooks back to collect for Duluth East. Feed it over to Landon Pierce. Pierce, stretch pass, connects to Medlin, and then Medlin works it across over for Kramer off his stick. Look towards out in front with a shot, and that one deflected, ends up back behind the goal. Kramer had an opportunity. There's a one-timer by Brooks that knuckles wide of the net. Pierce holds it in, still battling for it, still holds the line. And after 3 or 4 attempts, the Eagles finally got the clear. Here's Peterson. He'll get a wrist shot off. Shoulder save there by Nygaard. The stick of Medlin swept to the middle of the ice on the back check, picked up by Thompson. He'll dump it in. Stopped by the net here by Nygaard again. Medlin will sweep it back out to center. Kramer, he's got Edgerton with him. Thrown in on goal, fought up by the stick there of Erickson. Kind of surprised he didn't just scoop that one up, as Edgerton was in the vicinity. Tied up on the near side, and being pile drive to the ice there was Charlie Schultz of Eden Prairie. The shot saved there by Erickson, pops right up in the middle of the ice, and then a rebound opportunity by Kramer goes wide. Goaltender still in for Duluth East. Shot from the left point, fought off by Erickson. That was a shot taken there by Medic. Puck comes into the near side corner. Flip back out to center, glove down by Medic. He'll nudge it over down the left side to Spoden. Spoden's shot goes wide. Spenningsby will flip it down deep. Kuzmuck throws a check in the corner, trying to get to the puck for Duluth East. Under 2 to go. Glove down by Spenningsby. Spenningsby gets a shot off, knocked down in front. Comes free again, swept towards the goal by Spenningsby, blocked again. Nice job here by Eden Prairie of blocking the goal. Goaltender still in for Duluth East, as Eden Prairie not liking how things were going. They'll just ice the puck and get a breather. Minute 41 to go here in the third. Still 2-goal lead for Eden Prairie. Duluth East has the only goal of the period. And the Greyhounds will use that timeout. Talk things over. I would assume if they win the face-off, they're going to pull the goaltender for an extra attacker. Been an entertaining game up to this point, but Eden Prairie has, from basically the opening face-off, has kept the Hounds at arm's length. In case anyone was wondering, the Army-Navy football game, it's certainly 16-10, Army with the lead about halfway through the fourth quarter. Minnesota Wild won today 3-2 over the Ottawa Senators in the NHL. Wild scored a goal with under, I believe, 30 seconds to go in the third period to win 3-2. See if I can get some other updates from other high school scores. Waconia beat Anoka 3-2 in overtime. Hibbing Chisholm beat Totino Grace 5-0. Elk River Zimmerman with an 8-3 win over Andover. Elk River Zimmerman will be Eden Prairie's next opponent on December 18th at Braemar Arena in the Edina Holiday Classic. Goal is empty for Duluth East, and they'll feed it into the slot. Unable to get a handle on it in front of the goal was Orn, and then the puck will slip back out to center. Extra attacker out for the Greyhounds. Here's Medlin. Medlin feathers it forward. Nice pass there up to Orn. Over for Brooks, and he swings and misses on a shot. Feeds this over, one's over the score! Beautiful pass! Medlin buries it from in between the circles. And Duluth East back to within one. 1:17 to go. Looked like that opportunity kind of fizzled out when Brooks came down the right side with the puck and had some time and space, and he fanned on a shot, but he ended up picking it up and a beautiful bullet pass into the slot. Single assist to Brooks on the goal by Medlin. And Medlin blasted it from in between the circles. Goaltender back in for Duluth East. And an icing here against Eden Prairie with 1:01 to go. Eden Prairie still has their timeout. Do you consider using it if you're the Eagles? That would also give Duluth East a chance to draw something up. Goaltender off for Duluth East. Face off one by Eden Prairie. They'll throw it down the rink. It'll just go wide. I think Moten threw that one down the rink. It'll be another icing call and another defensive zone face-off for Eden Prairie. Two unanswered goals by Duluth East here in the third period. Backhanded up the boards. Spenningsby at the face-off circle, down into the corner. Gets the hard hit there, loses the puck. The Eagles will pick it up there. They'll play it off the near side wall back out to center. Flipped in by Medic. Pitzel will be back to pick it up for Eden Prairie. Plays it off the glass. Along the half wall, fought off there, keeping it in is Spenningsby just inside the line. Conrad will backhand it towards the goal, and that one will go off the pipe. Icing again against Eden Prairie, 23.7 seconds to go. Face-off win for Eden Prairie. Rice will work it around the boards. Can't get it out. Cutting back up high. Here's Medlin with a shot. And that one was blocked by Rice with his own shoulder in front of the goal, and it ricochets into the netting. 13 seconds to go. Eden Prairie looked to be comfortably in front, and now they're having to sweat this one out. Late game stuff has been an issue. As I mentioned before, I think Eden Prairie had a 3-goal lead in the third period against Prior Lake a few games ago. Ended up in a 5-5 tie. Out in front, jamming it towards the goal. Saved there by Erickson, trying to stuff this one into the Greyhounds in front of the goal. And it's blown down. Goaltender kept it out. A big scrum as a result. Just 3.8 seconds remaining. Easton Orn is hot for Duluth East against Owen Conrad of Eden Prairie as those two go at each other. See if anyone gets a penalty out of that scrum. Just 3.8 seconds to go. Officials, after all that, no one's going to get a penalty. There was some pretty aggressive, kind of surprised there was no roughing out of that. But a tough break here for Duluth East as the faceoff is going to come out to center. The head coach, Steve Petoja for Duluth East, wants the faceoff in the Eden Prairie zone. 3.8 seconds to go. You got to win the faceoff here for Duluth East. They hammer it into the zone. And Rice is just going to touch that one up along the end wall. And a 4-3 win for Eden Prairie over the Greyhounds of Duluth East. So after all that, it ended up kind of being a little bit of an anticlimactic last couple of seconds of the game, as Duluth East unable to complete the comeback, as Eden Prairie picks up the 4-3 win. Eagles move to 3-2-1. Duluth East falls to 2-4-1. Final shot totals 33-27 in favor of Eden Prairie. Let's see if I can quickly do math here. So it was an 11-7 edge in shots on goal in the first period for the Eagles, followed by a 14-5 edge in the second period for Eden Prairie. And then Duluth East in a furious comeback attempt in the third, as they outshoot the Eagles 15-8 in the third period, but it's not enough if you're a Duluth East supporter. Winning net goes to Luke Erickson. He's first win of the season. He's 1-1, as he makes 24 saves on 27 shots faced. For Duluth East, Nolan Nygaard takes the loss. He falls to 1-4-1. He makes 29 saves on 33 shots faced here this afternoon. Let's go through the scoring. RJ Thompson got the Eagles on the board 9 seconds into the game. Assist going to Owen Conrad and also Cameron Rice. And then a few minutes later, a power play tally 4 seconds into a power play for Cole Pitzel, with assists going to Jack Peterson and Owen Conrad. So 2-0 quickly for Eden Prairie. Goal late in the first period for Finn Kuzmuck for Duluth East. Single assist to Wesley Furren made it a 2-1 lead for Eden Prairie after 1 period of play. Eagles could get the only 2 goals of the second period. Owen Conrad from RJ Thompson and Jack Peterson, and then Thompson, his second goal of the game, with a single assist to Cam Rice. So 4-1 Eden Prairie after 2 periods. And then the Greyhounds would score a couple of goals in the third period. Marcus Antela scoring with a single assist to Grayson Medic. And then probably the play of the game for Duluth East. A bullet pass from the corner by Liam Brooks. One-time home from the slot by Zane Medlin, with about just over a minute to go in the third period. It made it a 4-3 game, but Duluth East could not get the equalizer with the extra attacker. So that's it for the scoring and the stats from this game this afternoon. Duluth East will be facing Duluth-Denfeld on December 20th in their next game, and Eden Prairie will face off with a good Elk River Zimmerman team on December 18th at Braemar Arena in the Edina Holiday Classic. That's it for me from the Eden Prairie Community Center. Thank you for watching here this afternoon. For everyone with MN Hockey TV, Live Bar